If you watched Summer Game Fest 2024, you'll have seen the trailer revealing all of the Season 2 characters for Street Fighter 6, a trailer that has had fighting game fans, including myself, absolutely losing their minds.
Oh my god, is it Capcom vs SNK? I'm gonna blow up, I'm gonna literally detonate.
We don't have enough heat in the hype meter.
But why exactly is this collection of 4 characters so exciting for Street Fighter players? Well, it'd be a very short video if I didn't explain, so here, by character, in order, is why everyone is so hyped for the next year of Street Fighter 6. The first character arriving as part of Season 2 in this very month is arguably the least exciting of the 4, but thanks to some smart decisions on Capcom's part, he's still well worth paying attention to. On a pretty basic level, the return of Bison is a big deal because he's the OG boss of the series. It just feels weird to have a Street Fighter game where Bison isn't present. And while de facto Street Fighter 6 boss JP is pretty intimidating,
care to hear how this ends? In ruin.
He feels a lot more like a standard member of the Street Fighter 6 roster. The other wild thing about Bison's return is that after the events of Street Fighter V, technically he's supposed to be dead, his body having been obliterated by Ryu. But if you played a fighting game, you'll know that no one ever really dies. Technically, Fatal Fury final boss Geese Howard died nearly 30 years ago in 1995, but SNK still finds excuses to wheel him out to ruin your day.
Die, maggot!
This new version of Bison apparently wakes up in the back alleys of Metro City with no memory of who he is but a burning desire for power. So we reckon he's probably a spare clone of Bison, for reasons that are too wild and nonsensical to get into here. Given that he's ripping around the place on a giant horse, there is a chance that he's just a regular guy who watched Street Fighter the movie one too many times.
I shall take that name for myself.
It's not just aesthetic changes either. Bison's game plan has been modified to favour his classic aerial attacks, Devil's Reverse and Head Stomp. It looks like he's going to spend a decent percentage of the match flying around the screen like a moth that just scorched itself on a light bulb. There's also some interesting information from Capcom regarding his primary gimmick, which is a modified version of a tool he had in Street Fighter V. He apparently has the ability to plant psycho mines using a move called Back Fist Combo, and then either wait for them to explode or manually detonate them by landing either another back fist combo, a Psycho Crusher, or a Devil's Reverse, basically any of his glowy hand moves. Planting these Psycho Mines will do a bit of damage, but also apparently offer you an advantage when attacking and make it less dangerous to you if your moves are blocked. If it had just been a standard Bison with a more conventional old school moveset, this would be far less exciting. As it is, with a brand new aesthetic, an intriguing new set of strengths, and even some motion inputs like quarter circles in place of traditional charge inputs, we're almost ready to forget all the times Bison has proved to be an absolute nightmare as the final boss of arcade mode. I said almost. This was the reveal that really caused the fighting game community to lose its collective shit. Terry Bogard is the lead character of SNK's 2 most famous fighting series, Fatal Fury and King of Fighters.
Terry Bogard.
Back in the 90s, Capcom and SNK were fierce rivals in the 2D fighting genre, even taking pot shots at each other, like the clearly identifiable statue of Street Fighter 2's Guile in the background of the boss cutscene in King of Fighters 94. The two companies put aside their differences in 1999, embarking on a series of games that combine characters from both Capcom and SNK. One of those games was 2001's Capcom vs SNK 2, which is generally considered to be one of the best fighting games of all time. Seriously, people still bang on about this game nearly 25 years later. The problem is, at the time, SNK was on the verge of bankruptcy and struggled to capitalise on the deal in the same way that Capcom did, and that reportedly led to some bad feeling between the two companies. But then a few years ago, clues started emerging that the two companies might be working alongside each other again. Old SNK vs Capcom games on the Neo Geo Pocket were re-released on Switch, and a special edition print was sold at the EVO fighting game tournament. And it turns out those clues were leading to this, a proper crossover in a mainline Street Fighter game. There's a couple of interesting things to note here. In spite of the fact that in Street Fighter 6 characters like Ken and Guile are entering their middle-aged dad era, this version of Terry appears to be his younger King of Fighters look, rather than the more mature, grizzled version we'll see in SNK's upcoming Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Hey, come on! Also, we can't help but speculate as to whether this is just an appetizer for a full-fat Capcom vs SNK or SNK vs Capcom fighting game at some point. With their most recent releases, Street Fighter 6 and King of Fighters 15, both companies are putting out truly exceptional fighting games, so we'd be happy for either company to take on the responsibility. Either way, we can't wait to hear Terry ask us if we're okay in Street Fighter 6. Are you okay? Such a considerate guy. Elena's an interesting character to add to Street Fighter 6 for a couple of reasons. First of all, because of her capoeira-inspired fighting style, she only uses kicks. That means a lot of her standard attacks, known as normals, tend on average to have better range, allowing you to play cautiously and poke at your opponents. That's definitely not the most interesting thing about her addition to SF6. What's fascinating about Elena is that in her last appearance in Ultra Street Fighter 4, she was more busted than early 2000s British pop-punk band Busted. She had an Ultra combo simply called Healing that allowed her to recover a substantial amount of her life bar, a mechanic which in fighting games is usually reserved for cheap-as-hell bosses. The problem if you were playing against her is that when you attacked her, she would lose health but build meter, and then she could spend that meter on the Healing Ultra to recover the lost health. It meant you often had to dish out considerably more damage to Elena than any other character on the roster.
Is he going to steal it away again with the healing? Yes! Here it comes! Fantastic! 1 second!
Oh my god, that's going to do it! That is exactly what he needed! Got just enough health back!
Wow, and what a gut punch for infiltration.
The big question is, will healing return in Street Fighter 6? I'd argue, yes, it probably will, for two reasons. First of all, loads of the characters in Street Fighter 6 have a unique gimmick, from Jamie's drinking, to Manon's throws which increase her damage, to Blanca's extremely dangerous children's toys. I assume that's what you get if you order a Furby off Temu. The second reason I think healing will return is Street Fighter 6 is an absolute masterclass in fighting game balancing. Yes, there are some characters that are stronger than others, but by and large, Street Fighter 6 launched as one of the most balanced fighting games ever. The recent balance update has only further refined that, elevating lower tier characters like Lily to potential tournament winners.
It's a game! Ladies and gentlemen, El Chicote taking it down, your Combo Breaker 2024 champion!
So my guess is healing will be part of Elena's gimmick, but probably tied to something other than building meter, and Capcom will balance that accordingly by making it either risky to earn healing, or just by nerfing Elena in other ways to make her a more balanced character overall.
Raging Slime!
As if the announcement of Terry Bogard wasn't enough, the collaboration with SNK was affirmed further with the reveal that fan favourite Fatal Fury and King of Fighters character Mai Shiranui would be the fourth DLC character in Season 2. I'll leave it to you to guess exactly why she's so popular. Quite aside from the fact that Mai is a great character to pluck from SNK's roster and will be a great fit for Street Fighter 6's Smash Mouth Drive Rush combat, the really exciting thing is that Mai's inclusion means this isn't just a single SNK guest character. Two characters feels like a proper collaboration between the two traditional rivals, and hopefully a sign of things to come. Bear in mind, those two DLC character slots could have been taken up by popular fan favourite Capcom characters instead, so something has been sacrificed to include them. Of course, Mai won't be in the game until winter 2025, which is ages away. But by that point, we'll not only have a Street Fighter 6 that continues to go from strength to strength, but also the new Fatal Fury City of the Wolves game. Fighting game fans are eating better than Henry VIII right now, and 2025 looks like a hearty second course. Are you excited for Street Fighter 6 Season 2? If you haven't played the game before, does it inspire you to get involved? Let us know in the comments and check out these 2 fighting game videos on screen right now for more from us here at Outside Xbox. See you next time.
Your time ends